Good evening, everybody, and we are so honored and excited that you're joining us tonight. My name is Becca, and I'm just getting over a cold, so thank you for putting up with my scratchy voice, but I'm honored to share with you tonight a little bit of the stories that we have here for you, representing moms all over the country who've been able to do some amazing things for their families, as well as help many, many people along the way. So the possibilities really are endless, and we're excited for you to kind of see what is possible. We wanted to start by talking about what it looks like to be a mom boss, and we realize that not everyone on the line will be a mom. We know we all have a mom, and some of you either are moms, want to be moms, or maybe you're just someone who wants to stay home and spend more time with family or have more time freedom. And so this is what we want to share with you today, is how we've been able to do this over just a short period of time, and in the meantime, center our lives around the things and the people that matter the most. So I love the description here of a mompreneur, someone who can multitask, balancing the stresses of running a business and being an entrepreneur with all the commitments and time things that take place and being at home and taking care of a family. So that's why we call ourselves the Mom Boss. But even more importantly, the theme that I think that you'll hear woven throughout tonight is the idea of living an integrated life. And for some people who aren't familiar with that term, it's really the way we look at what we're able to do as health coaches. Because for many people, they're trying to balance life out. They're trying to give equal parts and portions to the different sections of their life, whether it's work or home. And most of the time, it's hard to balance those things out, especially if you go to work all day and then you come home and you have all of your home tasks to do. What we're able to do as we work from home is live an integrated life where the pieces come together and interact with each other. So maybe it's ministry or relationships or family time or marriage stuff or coaching. We fit it into the nooks and crannies of our life. And that's what makes this so appealing for those that you're going to hear from today. So we hope that this is inspiring for you. Most of us have said sometime in our life that we want to live a life on purpose. And I know that when I thought about that as I was getting to be an adult, I didn't really know what that was going to look like. But as I found health coaching and fell in love with it one day at a time, that's exactly what happened here, is I was able to take my purpose as a mom and my purpose to want to pour out in another way to the world and just blend those two together. So the ripple effect you're going to hear about, that's where one person helps the next person, who helps the next person, who helps the next person, and on it goes. And then you're also going to see how we talk about our physical health, our mental health, and our financial health. And for many people, they give up one to create the other. But what we're able to do in this integrated life that we're talking about is we're really able to work on all the pieces and parts together. And so they don't have to compete for our attention in the same way that many, many other people have to deal with those three areas of their life. And then I love that third picture there, the one that talks about, and honestly, I didn't think there would be something in my life that would fit in that sweet spot as far as a career in the center, where it's something I could love, something that the world needed, something I was paid for, and something that I could be very good at and I could get competent with over time. So that is what you're also going to hear as you hear the stories from the different people that get to share today. But I'm honored I get to share my story first. My name is Becca Tinter. My story starts almost exactly 5 years ago. At this point, I had had my third little boy in less than 4 years. My kids were 3.5, 2, and I had a 1-month-old baby. And physically, I wasn't feeling great about my own personal health. And so I was looking for something to solve that problem, but I was also a former school teacher and now a stay-at-home mom. And I had a home-based business that took me out of the house for hours in the evening, and I had dishes involved, and it was taking a lot of time and energy. At the same time, my husband was a full-time police officer. He was working a lot of overtime to just fill in the gaps for us because we had enough to live, but we didn't have any extra. And I was looking for something where I could create $800 to $1,000 a month and be able to take Kevin off of overtime and give myself a chance to walk away from that other home-based business. And what happened when I fell in love with coaching is I just started helping friends and family. It happened very organically. And within just a month or so, I was already making that kind of income. And so I knew that I was going in the right direction. So fast forward a little bit, I'm helping some more people. Kevin decides to come alongside me and help me just a little bit part-time while he's a full-time police officer, which was his dream job, never intending to come home. And then a little more time goes by, and we enjoy this more and more. We're helping more friends and family. We have more people joining us, helping us coach other people. It's getting bigger, and we're making more income. And pretty soon, we look at our finances and we look at our lifestyle, and Kevin has no time freedom. And we have 3 little boys, and he decides that he would rather be a stay-at-home dad. And so at the age of 36, he was able to quit the police department and come home and coach full-time alongside me. and also basically be a full-time parent and a part-time health coach. And so our youngest, Dylan, who is now 5, has never known a dad who goes off to work, which is a pretty cool story. So that was how our life kind of was changed for the better, and it's just continued to grow. But the one other thing that I wanted to share, because you can see these pictures of all the fun we're having, you know, the bottom right-hand corner is just the grocery store picture of my typical Costco trip, because I've been able to influence my family now for health. In the upper right-hand corner is a picture of a check I was able to write. And someone encouraged me when I started health coaching to think far beyond what I could just do for myself and my family. And I dreamed and wrote out as a new health coach that someday I wanted to buy an ultrasound machine for a pregnancy resource center. And to be honest, when I wrote it down, I really didn't think it was possible. But I will tell you, this past April, less than 4 years after starting to coach, I was able to write that check right out of our bank account with Kevin's full support and send that off and buy that ultrasound machine just because we could. And it's something we never ever would have had the opportunity to do. So to pay forward, to give freely, and that's all because of coaching. And I could go on and on, but I'm really excited to share with you, or let my friend share with you next, Megan, who has a very different but very unique story that's very inspiring as well. So Megan, take it away.
Thanks, Becca. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I came to coaching a little bit differently. I actually didn't have much of a weight loss at all. I'd gotten healthy a few years before, and health had actually always been a really important thing to me. But I was honestly fresh out of college just a little over 2 years ago when I started coaching, and my husband and I were expecting our first little boy, Owen, who is now almost 3. And I just wanted to be able to be home with him. And we didn't know what that would look like, but I decided to reach out to my friend who is a health coach and ask her, what are you doing? It looks like so much fun. I'm really interested in health. Can you share with me? And so that's how I got started, without even a weight loss story, just a heart to help people and a desire to be home with our first new baby. And honestly, I also wanted to get out of my mom bubble a little bit. I'd only been a mom for a short period of time, but I'd also only been out of college for a short period of time. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like I love this little guy, but I need to talk to some adults too. So I had that huge desire on my heart. And when we first started coaching, to be perfectly honest, we just kind of had a goal. I remember I said to my husband, I would just love to eventually make $1,000 a month. It's funny because that was Becca's thing too. Wouldn't that be so cool if I could eventually do that? Well, a handful of months into coaching, all of a sudden we got a check and I was like, oh my goodness, wow, I've hit that mark. That's really neat because I've just been doing this here and there for an hour during nap time. What would happen if I actually tried to work this as a business and got to share with even more people and help even more people? So that's kind of what I started doing. I started working a little more, 8 to 10 hours a week, and we were able to, in 8 to 9 months, pay off 8 years of student loans that we had left. It was going to take another 8 years to pay that off. And so that was really, really exciting to us. And all the while, we were just helping a ton of people and bringing on moms who could be home full-time with their kids too, and it was just very fun. I think the last thing I want to share with you guys is something I shared recently on another one of these Zooms, so it might not be new to everyone, but we've had the freedom. My husband, he works his dream job as a chemical engineer, and that's what he's always wanted to do. He's 27, but he actually came home to me one day and said, I really love this mission. I would love to do it with you. So he just put in his notice, and in about 5 to 6 months, he is retiring and coming home full time to help me raise our little boys and to be fully present and to go where we want to go and to do what we want to do and to sponsor the things, the things in our church that matter to us. So that's what coaching allows, is just that freedom to just kind of choose what you want and where you want to be. So that's my story. Thank you so much for having me on and letting me share. I would also like my friend Vonda to share, because when I first started coaching, Vonda was one of the first coaches I met, and she was very inspirational to me just in what she'd been able to create with her family. So Vonda, are you there, and could you hop on?
Hey y'all. Okay, 3.5 years ago, our lives looked radically different. I was a stay-at-home mama with 3 little girls, 7 months old, 4 and 5 years old, and my husband was flying 747s for a cargo company. He was gone 18 days, home 12 every single month. And y'all, 18 days each month adds up to 218 days, or 7 months out of the year. And that was a whole lot of life that we were missing as a family, and we were desperate for a change. We were very stressed, not happy with where we were. The lack of freedom we had, the time apart was really tough, and we knew if we did not make a change in our lives, we would wake up, fast forward 10 or 15 years, and our girls would be heading into high school and college, and those years would be gone, and there'd be a lot that we'd missed together as a family. You know, I think sometimes that there are tough circumstances that really make you realize just how important it is to make a fundamental shift. I was kind of feeling sorry for myself and feeling like we were missing out on so much, but that is when I realized I can continue in this, like, keeping my head above water, doggy paddling mode, or I can do something about this. And the choice was really up to me. I was exhausted, having 3 children, and the theme is very similar to Megan's and Becca's. I was exhausted. I was completely worn out. I thought, goodness gracious, now that I'm a mom, am I ever going to feel rested again? I was 30 pounds overweight, and I knew my girls deserved more. They deserved a mom who was thriving, excited about life, energized, and was positive and vibrant. And with everything within me, I wanted to model all of that for them. I jumped on our program, lost 30 pounds. My husband went on to lose 50. And the timing was amazing because just 2 weeks before I had started my own journey towards physical transformation, we had said no to a $43,000 franchise opportunity. We were so doggone desperate for a change, but this franchise would have taken me out of the home while my husband was still flying all over the world. And that was not what we wanted either. The very freedom that we wanted would not be freedom at all if we had chosen that franchise. And going back to the management career I had with the Fortune 500 company I worked for before having children was also not an option, because again, it would take me away from my kids. When I became a coach 6 weeks into my own journey, it was the biggest blessing that I knew God had literally opened up the door. I initially wanted to put our girls in a private Christian school, and I was literally able to sit on the floor in our playroom, support our clients while watching my baby crawl around and my bigger girls were playing dress up. In between nap times, I was reaching out to our coaches and clients, and it also gave me an amazing opportunity to pour into other people's lives and love on them and encourage them. And again, feeling a bit isolated as a mommy with small kids, I was getting reconnected with old friends I had not seen in a really long time. And fast forward 5 months, my husband was no longer flying, but he was coaching with me. Just 3 short years ago, today, over Christmas, he was gone. My baby was kissing an iPad, saying hello to daddy while he was in Alaska. So coaching has afforded us not only the time freedom, but also the financial freedom to give to ministries that we believe in and support missionaries whom we dearly love. And our girls, this is the most important thing for us, is that our girls are seeing a mommy and a daddy who are daily loving and serving others. And that's the kind of legacy that we want to leave with them. And I'm going to pass it along. I know, Tia, I know you also have young girls, and we would love to hear your story.
I do have young girls, and it's been such an honor getting to link arms with you, Vonda, over the last 3 years. My story began about 6 years ago, and literally I got onto this program and jumped into coaching, literally because my husband, I wanted to support him, and I knew that that's where the change needed to happen. How could I come alongside my husband and champion him in that season of our life? We had furniture stores in the Portland area. He was under stress. And so I knew if I could support him in getting healthy, I went on to lose 40 pounds and he lost 60 pounds. But our main reason for becoming a health coach was for accountability, because we were told health coaches are 5 times more likely to reach and maintain a healthy weight because of the accountability factor of paying it forward. And so literally I jumped into coaching just so I would never gain my weight back. But I quickly learned to dream again. A week into this program, I realized I could dream again. Like my eyes were open, my blood sugars were stabilized. Have you ever heard the saying, structure determines your behavior? well, wow, did this program set up a structure. It brought a community around me that I had been praying for years, for people that would be in my corner cheering me on. And through that process, I was able to supplement and take the pressure off my husband within just a few short months, bringing in over $1,000. And then we started dreaming even bigger. And we actually heard Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, the founder of Take Shape for Life. And it was in that moment that we realized this is something that we wanted to be all in to really further the mission. And so we wrote out, it was about 5 years ago today, about this time of year, we wrote out our goals, and we said, we had heard this saying about setting out goals and really accomplishing them. And I way overestimated what I could accomplish in 1 year, but I way underestimated what I could accomplish in 5 years. I am truly blown away by what the ripple effect can do. I mean, I'm honored to be surrounded by these women, these mom bosses. And what coaching has done for me has been, number one, has given me accountability, has given me friendships, and also a community that I have been looking for my whole life. And my favorite quote is, never doubt that small group of thoughtful, committed people that can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And so, yes, we all make executive incomes, but we work very part-time, intentional hours, being with the people that we love and getting to help people truly break through in health. And so, speaking of healthy finances and really where I was before and where our family is today, Becca, I'd love for you just to kind of go into just sharing the state of where our country is right now.
Yes, thanks, Tia. So this will not surprise most of you that are on the line, but you can see the crisis that we have in America. We have a financial crisis, and we also have a crisis of health. And I think one of the things that makes us so passionate about what we do is our families, but also when we look at the future generations and what can happen if people don't make a change for difference in their health. The leading causes of death in the United States, none of this is surprising. Most of them are related to reaching a healthy weight or not being at a healthy weight. Diabetes and strokes and heart disease and many forms of cancer. Lots of them are related to the fact that people are not at healthy weights and are not making healthy decisions for the long run. So although we help people with the weight loss side of it, we really want to help them with long-term health. I did an experiment one time when I was a brand new health coach. I had one of my little kids in a shopping cart in the aisle of the grocery store, and I just decided to count how many people were healthy in that single aisle, just a simple little test for myself, not scientific at all. There were 10 people in the aisle, and there were 3 healthy people in the aisle, myself, one other adult, and the child that I had in the cart. And I looked around at the other 7 people, and certainly, just judging by looking at someone doesn't fully determine their level of health, but just physically looking at them, I knew they were not at their optimal health. And that was really sad. And so everywhere we go, now we're noticing, we're aware of where people are suffering in their physical health, but also in their financial and their mental health. And then you can see the picture of the child represented in the lower corner there. And we know now that, adult onset diabetes is now called type 2 diabetes because children as young as 8 and 10 are getting that. And that is where our heart is coming from as well when we think about changing the course of health in America. But what we know is when we all got healthy, we also were able to start shifting the way our families functioned. Some of us came from healthy families and other ones weren't set up that way. And so we know that as we chose to get healthy as moms and became health coaches, it transformed the rest of our family. We started making healthier choices for ourselves and paying it forward to our children and the people that we love the most. We also, like Tia mentioned, we started to create a community of people. Some of our greatest friendships have been created through health coaching, and these are people that positively influence us and also are people that want to grow personally. And that's incredible when you're around people that want to grow. And then again, it's been mentioned over and over about that ripple effect. We just helped the people that we cared about the most, and then it has spread naturally from there. And it's been an incredible journey so far for us. So what do we really do as health coaches? Well, it reinforces our personal decisions to stay healthy. So for all of us who are speaking, we're still on our journeys, but we have that built-in accountability. Again, we built a community around us of people who are interested in growing personally and developing. We do well by doing good. So what that means is we're compensated well for our time. because as moms, especially if we're stepping away from our families to do something, we want to make sure it's worth our time, but we're making such an incredible impact. Talk about being part of something big. Yes, changing the health in America is a big mission, and we're excited to be a part of it. And then the ripple effect we've mentioned more than one time, but it's because we're so excited about how this grows naturally. And so now, speaking of the ripple effect, I would love to bring on my great friend Gina, who's got an amazing story to share with you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share. And honestly, I feel so blessed because I didn't come to this for the same reason a lot of these ladies came. I came just because I needed to lose some weight. I had been struggling in my health. I actually loved what I did. I was passionate about what I did. However, I worked 60 plus hours a week from a work from home business where I went out of the home to do parties. And so I was gone a lot, but I had 4 kids. We were adopting 3 more children. Life was busy. My husband worked 60, 70 hours a week at a job that he really was not happy with. Have you ever seen that situation where someone works from the very bottom of the totem pole to the very top and they're really just stopped? There's no other place for him to go. He went 8 years without a raise. That's how dead end it was for him. And so, it was a little stressful, but for us, I didn't see this as an option. I just knew I desperately needed to lose the weight. And so I lost 65 pounds on the program in a very short period of time. And a lot of people around me started asking, what am I doing? And so I decided to pay this gift forward and really began to bless a few friends and family members. And that's where it began. But quickly, within 6 months, I was able to leave my work from home job because I had replaced the income in working less than a couple hours a week. And that's when I got excited, you guys. That's when I realized, wow, we can really have some choices. And I'm not sure if y'all have adopted, but for us, it's expensive to pay for those services. And for us, it was mind-blowing to realize that we could pay off $65,000 worth of adoption debt in less than 6 months. Now we have 7 children, and I don't know if you've bought food for 7 children lately, but it ain't cheap. No, it ain't cheap. So I just want you to understand, like, the blessing that this has been for our family is as it has organically grown and began to just spread out to others, we have been able to realize our dreams. So you can see my family in the middle of the screen. We are big, we are large, we are in charge. And everywhere we go, people notice us. But it is fun and we have a blast. And you know what has even been more exciting is my husband was able to leave his 23-year career back in April and pursue health coaching with me full time, but more importantly, our children have a mama and a daddy home with them full time, hanging out, playing, being rough and wild, and having a good time. But my most favorite thing is that this summer, Adam and I went on a vacation to Utah, and we fell in love, and we decided, you know what, let's move. Why not? And so we literally 3 weeks later packed up our house, and we're in Utah, and we moved into our dream home in Utah where we can see the whole valley, and it's just breathtaking. Do you have those choices? Because you know what? That's what we're passionate about. Every woman on this line right now is passionate about helping and assisting others to have those same options. So thank you so much. Now I'm going to pass this on to my girlfriend, Paula, who's going to share with you just a little bit about her story.
Thanks, Gina. I'm in a little different season of life than most of the ladies who've shared tonight. I'm actually a new grandmother, and my children, I'm just empty nested, so they've all just left. And 5 years ago, this program came to me at a really pivotal time, and we had just closed our furniture store after 13 years, and I wanted to get healthy and I wanted to make some changes to our lifestyle. And here was the difference. I started not only feeling better, but I also noticed a contrast in maybe doing a different type of career. I love being an entrepreneur. But see, when I had our furniture store, it came with a lot of financial pressure. We had 35 employees, high overhead, a lot of stress. I worked nights and weekends and long hours. And I can't tell you how many times I missed dinner with my family or my kids' sporting events. And it was just like, it was a crazy life, and I didn't know how to get off of the hamster wheel, and we were just a life out of balance. And so as I started to get healthy and see my body changing and physically how I felt differently, I wanted to reach out just to a few of my friends and say, oh my gosh, you got to come and do this with me. And it was like at that moment when I saw the changes in them and realized I was playing a small part in being their encouragement, it was like a light bulb came on, and it was a fulfillment that I had never experienced before. And it was even like a ministry that started to blossom from that moment. And I had no idea how it would change everything in our life as a family and as a couple. And now I'm not only helping clients, but I'm helping a lot of health coaches who are stay-home moms who do not have to do what I did. They don't have to leave their kids and be gone all the time and miss the family events in the evenings. They're able to work from home with a part-time hours and work it around their children's schedule. I feel like I'm giving back to these young moms something that I didn't experience. My own daughter gets to be home with my grandchild, and I feel so rich because of that. You know, as health coaches, we don't have to miss a lot of events, and that is something I'm so thankful for. You know, it's given my family so much freedom in so many ways, and I have time to travel, I have time to be with my kids, I have time to be with my mother and my father and my in-laws. And it also has allowed me to take care of our family expenses so that my husband could open his own private practice. We knew that would take a couple of years to get it off the ground, and it felt so cool that I now gave him the freedom to say, let's do this. We can do this with my Take Shape for Life income. I just feel so blessed that the freedom and life we have. And I just feel like this opportunity was created exactly for me. I just can't imagine doing anything more fulfilling. It doesn't really feel like work at all. So I just thanks for letting me share. I just want to pass this on to Jen. She's in a different season of life. She has young children, beautiful children at home. And Jen, would you like to share with us about your life?
Yes, thank you, Paula. Well, like many of you, I would see before and after pictures on my Facebook feed over the last couple of years because a friend of mine was a health coach, and I would see the pictures and I was intrigued, so much so that I actually reached out to her one time in a private message, but I didn't understand exactly how it could work for me because I was already healthy. I didn't really have weight to lose. And so while it was intriguing, I didn't really see how it could fit for me until my life kind of came to a crossroads where my husband and I decided that we were going to plant a church. So we are vocational full-time pastors, and we were going to plant a church. And church planting isn't exactly lucrative, and we have 4 children. So I reached back out to my friend because at some point I had heard that Take Shape for Life offered healthy body, but they also had something that offered healthy finance, and I needed a stream of income. And so for me, I had been at home with my kids for the 10 years previous. They were getting ready to be and I was getting ready to send my youngest to kindergarten. So I knew that I was going to have a little bit of time flexibility, but I still wanted the freedom to be wife and mom first, not to mention be a partner in our new church plant. And so I really didn't want to go clock in somewhere if I could avoid it, but I knew I needed to bring in some income. So sure enough, I reached out. And it was very exciting to me to hear that this actually was a perfect pair or a perfect combination for what I was all about. Because essentially as a health coach, I get to just continue helping people. As a pastor, I get to see spiritual transformation, and it's so exciting. And now I had just another tool in my belt to really assist people in physical and even mental and emotional transformations. And so what that looked like, I'm sure some of you are like, okay, but what does a day in the life of a coach actually look like? And really, it really looks like the life that I wanted to create, because it enables us to surround our schedule and our time around the things that matter most. I'm field trip mom, so I go on all field trips. I basically get to connect with other people that are local over coffee, and we talk about their life. And for those that are out of state, because you can be a coach to anyone across the country, we get to connect over the phone weekly, and oftentimes it looks a little bit like this. It's a great community, a lot of fun, and it really enables you to plan your own schedule and create your life so you can travel and you can do the things that you want to do when you want to do them. And so I've been coaching for 2 years, but like I said, my financial need at the beginning was quite critical. I needed the basics for my family covered as we started our new church plant. And within 3 months, I was able to provide with $1,500 a month right out the gate, I was able to provide some of the basics of, just food and things like that. And then over the last 2 years, my family has been provided for in abundance, so much so that recently our church is located in the urban core of San Diego, and we do a project where we provide Christmas for families at the local elementary school where we meet. And I was able to be a significant part of contributing and helping fund that entire project. And so that is just a little glimpse into what it is to be a health coach, what it can do not only for your immediate family, but what it can do for the world around you, as you just get to help people see life change and lasting results of true transformation. And so I know for me, I came in, Becca, at a different spot, needing some healthy finance. But I think it's an important thing considering the state of our country. So maybe you want to share a little bit about where we are financially as a country, Becca.
Thank you, Jen. And I'm sure all of you are as inspired by these stories that I am, and I get the chance to know these women personally. So it's incredible. But as we're closing up, this isn't meant to be depressing. It's actually meant to be eye-opening. As I was looking over these statistics, I was actually shocked. So think about the fact that a third of Americans have a savings of less than $1,000. You can have a lot of things happen in your life that cost around $1,000 that can create huge problems for you. A little over half of us have less than $25,000 in the bank. Around half of Americans did not save a single penny last year. My kids have saved money from last year. So, that's scary when you think about that. Almost all the baby boomers haven't saved enough for retirement. 34% of adults say they have no money saved for retirement. And a little over half of Americans spend more than their annual income. And when you look at these statistics, the reason we talk about healthy finances is because we believe that's living within our means, getting out of debt, and then having enough to give a lot away and then create amazing memories for our families. And we do it all by helping other people. The statistics that I'm using today are from the Living Balance Sheet website. And they had a couple other quick things I just wanted to share. Last year, more Americans filed for bankruptcy than graduated from college or filed for a divorce, which certainly we don't want that number to be high. But the fact that more people filed for bankruptcy than got a college degree is scary. The other thing they said is 42% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And maybe if you're listening to this, that you understand where that's coming from, because you might be that person. And then the U.S. poverty line for a family of four is $22,300 a year. And now I'm going to show you the next slide. This is from our income disclosure statement, our most recent one. And this is going to show you the annual income. So for 12 months on average of these ranks in our coaching businesses. And every woman who's spoken today is an integrated national or above. And that's why we talk about being able to make at least a six-figure income coaching. But here's the cool part. On average, we're probably working about 24 hours a week. And when you think about the people that are working 40, 50, or 60 hours a week to create incomes far less than that, or they're making that much, but they're working many more hours and they're sacrificing things, we have a pretty amazing opportunity. So I'm sure you have questions about the details of this, and we're not here to explain all the details today. We just want to show you what's possible and how we can help change, again, the financial health for your family. And then focusing on what matters the most. This is a picture actually of our friend Susan. These are not pictures cut from a magazine, but she had just done such an amazing layout that, Susan and Shane are represented here with their family, show really what all 7 of us have been able to talk to you about a little bit today in our own ways. But being able to travel with our family because we don't have the time and the financial restrictions of most people. Giving back, whether that means financially or with time and service, leadership opportunities, personal development, freedom to just go in the middle of the day or the middle of the week and do something because you can. Having healthy bodies, because that's part of what we do as health coaches, is work on our own health. Having time for family, and then we like to have fun. And I didn't start with that, but I just wanted to let you know that for many of us on the line, we're business on the top and we're comfortable on the bottom. So most of us are wearing like yoga pants or workout pants because we get the opportunity to dress up when we choose and wear high heels if we want to, for those of us that are the women in the coaching businesses. But most of the time we can coach out of the comfort of our home, and we can coach people nationwide. So it's pretty incredible opportunity. And so what we really want to ask you as we close up, this is the last thing we want to mention, is just to think about what is possible for you. As Jen mentioned, most of us looked at this opportunity and we're thinking, it might be working for someone else, but would it really work for me? And I want to just tell you, when we stepped out in faith and we fell in love with coaching one person, one day at a time, Over the course of some time, we have been able to do incredible things for our families and influence hundreds and thousands of people. And I'm not using that number frivolously. Thousands of people have gotten healthy because of all of us on the line. And so we really want to encourage you to think about what could be possible as you finish out 2015 and you go into 2016. Who could you help? And what could be different for your family this year? And we're sure that you have questions, so reach out to the person who sent this to you and get the rest of the details and find out if it's a good fit for you. But we're just honored that you spent a little bit of time with us today, and we're so thankful that we got the opportunity to share. Thanks.